So we're going to get a little mystical right now. For me, I look at this, and maybe some of you guys do too. You know, we're all in this thing called life. We really don't know why we're here, what it is we're supposed to do. Okay, is it wealth? Is that the honorable thing to do, or is poverty the honorable thing to do? You know, well, if you look at that from, I guess, the perspective of positive and negative or good or evil, certainly abundance would lead to saying that would be more of a positive thing. And then lack or poverty would be a negative thing. So is the world really about just accumulating wealth? Is it the wealthiest one at the end of the day wins? You know, what greater benefit after life becomes the wealthiest? Like someone like Bill Gates or Warren Buffett. Is universe or God or whoever rules your world saying that, okay, Bill Gates, you won the game of life. Okay, you go right to you come and sit at the table with me and eat dinner every night because you were, out of everyone in the world, and obviously every single other billionaire or someone who's became the richest person in the world, like the Rockefellers, Carnegie, J.P. Morgan, all these people hit at one point in their life the level of the wealthiest person in the world on paper. Who knows who's hiding money, but on paper, publicly, these guys are posted as the wealthiest people in the world. And if you understand the Rockefeller story, there's a great series, Men Who Built America, and Rockefeller, J.D. Rockefeller, believed that he was chosen by God himself. He had said he was going on a business trip, and he was late for the train. And the only thing that made the train was his luggage. He sent his luggage ahead, and then he went to go make the train, and he missed that train. Well, that train crashed. It fell off a bridge, and everyone in the train died. And in that moment, he felt that he was saved for a reason. Now, at that time, he was struggling with his business, and he was, fighting with his partner on whether or not they would have had to have shut it down. But because of that experience, and because of the fact that he felt that he was chosen, then he felt that it was his obligation to do something significant. Like he was going to win no matter what, and he did. Matter of fact, he became so powerful that Carnegie and what's the other one there? There's not Carnegie. There was another one before that was even wealthier. Actually been inside the mansion of that person, the family mansion in Newport, and begins with a B. Anyway, but Rockefeller became so wealthy that everyone was basically at his beck and call. He ruled, and it's funny because even in Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil, the Rockefeller fortune in the conversation that he's having was noted in that conversation as the wealth that supposedly evil was afraid of. Okay, I know some of you have mentioned the audio or the book, and some of you have gotten it, but you'll notice that part that the Rockefeller wealth was the one thing that evil was afraid of because it was somehow protected. Okay, so you say, okay, so is it about wealth and abundance, or is the person who is the most poorest, is that who God or the universe favors? Really, what is this life about? And I don't know if we'll ever really know what truly happens. What what life is truly about. Is it about who makes the most amount of money, or the one that just decides that they're just going to be humble and be poor? Okay. Well, it seems that when you look at that, a lot of the suffering, a lot of the sickness and everything else tends to hit the poor versus the wealthy. Whenever there's a tsunami or any kind of great disaster in the world, it always seems to hit poor parts of the world. So what are we really fighting for? Is it one or the other? So let me share my experience a little bit with you guys tonight and why we're here at this point in life. I have been on the pursuit of wealth. I was born poor. Actually, I was actually born into, I wouldn't say wealth, but certainly the area that I was raised in was a wealthy area, and we had our own house. We built it. I remember being a little kid and watching the house built, and then I remember a time in my life where all that was stripped away and went from the best neighborhood in the entire state to the worst neighborhood in the entire state. I went from living in a custom home to eating free lunches that were given by the state in the park next to our house. And me and my younger brother. And we, it was a strange thing for a child. You don't really understand that. Why is that happening? Okay, but you don't take it too seriously, because you don't know. And you don't, at that age, ponder things like that. You just go with the flow. Okay, but I know at an early age, I had this knowing inside of me that I was going to be wealthy. I don't know. I just knew that was going to happen. I remember when I first met my wife, and she's an attorney, and I remember going out with some friends, and I gave a big tip. Not overly big, but I was a bartender, so at one time, and so I just felt for those people, I guess. I don't know. But I remember she said, "What do you think, you're a millionaire?" And I remember saying, absolutely. I said, "No, I know that I am." Now, at that time, I wasn't. At that time, I was like, just trying to make my way. Okay, I was going from one thing to another. I remember her saying, "Don, when you gonna just stop buying into those things and get a job?" She goes, "I tell you what, why don't you just bring me in some consistent money?" She said, $300 a week. That's all you have to do. Just make it consistent. And I said, "Well, I can't. You don't understand. There's something that's driving me for something more. And if I do that, okay, I'm afraid I'll be complacent. I'm afraid that I'll end up like everybody else." And so I seem to always put myself in a situation where I had to make it, or the family was going to starve, and I had to make it big. And each and every year, I made more and more money, and I pushed, and I worked my butt off, and I sacrificed a lot of things in life that other people seemed to be enjoying. I didn't get into sports because I didn't have time. I didn't go to any kind of concerts or football games or baseball games, or I didn't interact. I didn't hang out with a lot of friends and go hang at the bar or anything else like that. I worked, and the little bit of time that I had left, I spent with my family, and then that was it. And I did that for a good 10 years and had success, made money, progressed, and then took some risks, went $500,000 in debt, and building a system for a company, and recovered from that. Okay, I could have went bankrupt and chose to not do that, because I felt that if I were to do that, I would become like everyone else. I would become weak. And if you do things the hard way, then eventually you can do them anyway. Okay, so I felt that if I overcame that, then I would become a bigger person and have a greater ability. I would be stronger, and it worked out pretty well. And coming out of $500,000 in debt, I made $10 million the next just under 2 years as a result of that. And what I've learned over the years over and over and over again is that, one, you can never have anything taken from you. It always comes back. Now, I haven't really shared this with many people here, but having to do this rebuild here that we had to do, it's like I burned $50,000. So it's like taking $50,000 and just lighting it on fire and watching it burn. And I can complain and moan and cry and say, oh, my God, I just literally just lost out of thin air 50 grand, just like that, because of, me not, paying attention to who was doing the work as closely as I should have, okay? And so you learn now I'm spending a lot of time watching every single thing, and which is taking up a lot of my time, but I'm making sure that it's done right because I know the way that it needs to be done. But I can cry over that, and I can say, you know what? Maybe that's a bad sign. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Well, I've already proven to myself because I've pushed through before, just like I did before, 500,000 burnt right in the ground, okay? I know that no matter what happens, because I'm giving, it always comes back. That 50,000 didn't go anywhere. It's not gone. It's there, and it's going to come back 100-fold, just like it did before, and before that, and before that. And that's just something that I've understood for a long time. Now, does it pee me off, the fact that I just, burnt through 50 grand for nothing? Yeah, it does. But you know what? I don't let it take over me because I know it all comes back. It's all about, and I say this before, it's all about giving energy. You just keep giving. I was talking to someone today and about leads and stuff like that. Don't get tied up on that. You just keep giving the love. You just keep giving the energy. You keep spending the money. I don't know who's going to be the one who's favored here, the wealthy or the poor, but I believe with all my heart that someone that is so worried about survival, about buying groceries, and yes, eating is important, okay, but you have to understand that you have to be able to sacrifice that. You have to just be able to give that. That's why anyone who's ever done fasting, there's a lot that comes with that. Anything you're sacrificing, anything you're giving, anything you're spending comes back tenfold, 100-fold. So you don't ever have to fear that stuff. Any work you do, anything, and I'm not just talking about giving, and expecting the thing that you're doing to give back. That's not always the case. When I went $500,000 in debt, I paid the bill to build a system for a company that told me they wanted to fill stadiums, and I found out later that wasn't true. Okay, and so I ended up walking and saying, I'm out. I threw the system in the garbage, and went and did something else, and then it all come back. So it's just no matter what you do, it will come back. Now, I don't know what happens if you give up, other than an experience that I had, which has now put me in a place that I won't ever give up again. I did that one time. I won't ever do that again. There's a price that I paid for that, more than I would have imagined you would ever pay for quitting. And I see people quitting all the time, so I really didn't think it was a big deal. Maybe they don't realize the impact. Maybe they just don't notice it. Maybe their life is so messed up that when bad things start to happen to them, they realize they may think that maybe that's just the way life is. Well, for me, bad things don't happen. I just keep pushing forward. They don't have time to attach. They can't keep up with me. Okay, so we all have ups and downs in life. Okay, but when I quit, that was the first time that I had bad things start to happen to me, and it was really difficult to recover from that because I didn't have stuff like that happen to me before until I quit. So what I learned in that is that that comes back to you too. That comes back to you too. If you quit, that's negative energy. You will get more negative energy. Okay, so I won't ever do that again, that's for sure. I've learned my lesson. I only need to learn it once. But I already knew that. I never quit before because I feel that if I ever quit, how would I ever have success with the next thing? Like if I quit before I hit the top, how would I ever know how to get there with anything else? Because we don't know anything past our own experience. We don't know anything past what we've done ourselves. You can read it in the book. You can get some directions. You can get some tips. You can get some ideas. But ultimately, you've got to do the work. You have to do it. You have to figure out what it takes for you individually, because it might be different for you than it is for me. I can tell you how I did it, and it may work for a lot of people, but I don't know if it's going to work for you. What I do know is that if you figure out what it takes for you to have success, then you'll always have that. You'll own success. You will have your own blueprint. You will have your own roadmap. Okay? So shortly after, I wanted to know truth. It's not been about the money. It never has. I, at a young age, said, yes, I'm going to be a millionaire because I thought that was the noble thing to do. I thought that is our purpose in life. People that have money look like they have, that they're in favor of things. Things work out for them. Everything looks beautiful in their life. And people who didn't have money, it looked like things just were always horrible for them. So I decided that I wanted to have a good life, and pursuing wealth was the only thing I knew to do that would ensure that, because it looked like people who had money were living a good life. Okay? And I pursued and pursued and pursued to no end. And let me see here. Because the real point I want to make is something else, but because there's a much bigger story, but I don't want to really get into the whole story right now with you guys. I'd rather kind of wait till later on. But there was a time in my life that I did hit bliss, a bliss that I didn't know existed here. Now, imagine being like really, really excited, like your favorite football team wins the Super Bowl, or you got something really unexpected, like, I don't know, or you fell in love, or just that's really excited. We've all had those moments where we've been really, really excited. When you hit bliss, it's like that every day. I only slept 4 hours. I get up, jump out of bed, excited about my day. You couldn't get me to go to sleep if you tried. I didn't want to. I just literally loved my life so much. And I always look at things, and I always, because I'm a duplicator, right? But it's funny, every time I do something, I always think how this applies to other people, like how my story can help other people, or how my experience can help other people. I'm always thinking of other people when I do everything. It's just this weird thing. Sometimes I wish it wasn't that way. It's like, but everything is like how this serves other people. And instead of just living my own life, it just seems like it's always about other people. And I think, like, okay, so I hit this bliss, and this is how it happened. Is that I had obviously enough money to where I didn't have to worry about money. So that has a lot to do with it. Money didn't exist at all, but I had no responsibility at all. I completely automated my life. I completely automated my business. Zero responsibility with everything. I no longer was pulled into these things that at previous points in my life I was pulled into. The stresses and everything. It doesn't matter how much money you make. You've got stresses. Right now I've got stresses. I mean, I don't have money issues, but I've certainly going on. I've got stresses, so I'm not in bliss. Okay? When I was in bliss, it was zero responsibility. And I think why? Why me? And now I'm sure people have hit certain levels in life But I've never read. I've researched. I don't know how many people actually hit what I hit. And I asked the question, why me? Why me? What did I do to deserve that level of just happiness on this planet? And I just feel that not that I'm special, guys. I'm nothing. I really am. Okay, I am just like each and every one of you. Okay, that is willing to take a risk, that doesn't really fear different things. We all have fear at different levels. We all fear something. But it's yeah, why me? I'm nobody. I'm nothing. Yeah, I push and I work and I've got special characteristics, but so doesn't everybody else. Okay, I'm not that smarter than anyone else. I'm not come from royalty or anything else like that. Why me? And the only thing I can come up with is that I'd be the only one that would want to share it with other people. That I'd be the only one that could actually pull it off because of my ability to replicate and duplicate. I know the formula. I know exactly what happened to hit that level. And it is complete automation. It's having enough money to where money does no longer exist for you. It's not about having money. It's just money no longer exists. It's like everything in the world is free. You want a car, it's free. You want a boat, it's free. You want a house, it's free. Everything is free. When you get a certain amount of money, everything is free. You don't pay for anything. The money no longer becomes anything that's real. It's like paper money. It's like monopoly money. It's like that. So that worry is gone. The responsibility, because everything is automated, there's nothing you have to do. And that's when it happened for me. And ultimately, that's what this is about. But we also understand that there was some things that I was doing in life that I really, really enjoyed. I was doing what I wanted to do. I was having the time of my life. And I would sit there just dancing alone in my closet, just dancing, just happy, because I was doing what I wanted to do. And so this system is about automation. It's about getting you guys to a point where you don't have to worry about anything. And then the Serial Entrepreneur Program is about you guys getting involved in things you actually want to do. We'll have something for everyone. Like I told you, we already closed a deal with the music company. That's a done deal. We own that now, half of it, almost half. We're about to cut a deal with a movie production company for you guys that I'm not going to name the titles of movies, but most of these movies you've watched, and it's the producer for those movies, and we're about to go into negotiation. We got a meeting here, so it's not cut in stone here, okay? But they know what we're doing and they need us, and that will be something that we have ownership in, something that you'll be able to be involved in. To the extent that if you want to not get a part in the movie, but certainly being extras, you know how they have the crowds of people at a restaurant or whatever walking down the street, then that'll be something that we can make happen. You want to be in a movie? Absolutely. We can get you in as an extra, okay? Just like we can with the music company. You want to go hang out with, name your artist, you name your music artist, your favorite artist, I can get you an autograph. Don't do that now, but later on, I've got that kind of pull with the music production company, and they have those kinds of resources because the family's been in it for 50 years, 40 years. The father was Maurice Starr, however long that's been. So they've got contacts like you wouldn't believe. So we can make that happen, and we've got me and the owner of that company have a very strong relationship now. So the Serial Entrepreneur Program is about increasing your wealth to a much higher level, but it's the biggest part of it is doing the things that you want to do. There's some things that we're going to be doing in the family entertainment industry as well. So for those that have children, it's going to be a proud day when you say, Mommy, Daddy owns this, when you're taking your children to this particular thing. Things like that. Okay? At the end of the day, guys, I don't know what life is about. I don't know if we're supposed to pursue wealth. but I'm pretty sure that it is, because for some reason I hit a level of bliss that I just don't think anyone's hit. I don't know how many people have in this world. I don't know. Maybe there's more. I don't know. I've not yet met one. Okay? But I've never hit bliss when I had money issues. Not even close. Stressful, not happy, miserable, and, all that stuff. So I'm going to assume, based on my own experience, that wealth is noble. That wealth is noble. Because that's how I hit bliss. And again, why me? Because I believe that I was the only one that would actually have shared it and not just tried to keep it all to themselves. I want everyone to experience it. I've always been that way. I want everyone to be wealthy. I don't know if that's possible, but that is something I'd love to see. I don't know if I'll see it in this lifetime. I don't think that I will. I know that I won't. But I would love to be a part of that, the piece of the puzzle that happens someday in the future. I always wondered if there's reincarnation or not. Because who determines? Who determines if you're born the child of Bill Gates into a life of luxury with everything you could ever want? And who decides who's born the child of a homeless couple living under the bridge? Who decides that? Do we decide that in this life? Because, I get that you don't keep the money when you die, but maybe, just maybe, you keep who you become in the process. I don't know. But I just can't, for the life of me, figure out how the natural selection process happens. How is someone born lucky? How is someone born with natural ability and talent? Like I talk about the vocal cord. If you're an opera singer, you have to be born with this special vocal cord. It's different than regular singing people who sing. It's a special thing, and you have to actually be born with it. You can't develop it. Who decides that? And how is that decided upon? Some people can sing. They have beautiful voices. Did that take just one lifetime, or did it take 10? Is it something? Is life? Do we keep repeating? Is this eternity? Or do we keep repeating, and eventually we get so low and so down, and we're in the depths of hell that there's no escaping it? Our minds, because of making wrong choices and getting beat up over and over, lifetime after lifetime, that we go into such a dark place that our negative mind will not allow us to get out anymore? Is that the eternal hell that they talk about? And that would mean the opposite is true, that you just become so abundant that every life you just are born wealthy again. I don't know. I know my own experience, and I know what I can do. And I deal with, guys, in this process, obviously, I love entrepreneurs. I love network marketers. But in this process, I'm dealing with, different people. Okay, and I've got to be able to make sure that those people, do exactly what we need to get done here, no matter what it takes, no matter how late I have to stay up, no matter how many times I have to get on the phone call, no matter how many times I have to explain each feature, and sometimes it's over and over and over and over again. Okay, but it doesn't matter. I have to work with what I've got, and I've got to work with the world. We're all different. Everyone's different. We have different beliefs, different understandings of things, and you have to be able to work with all types of people. Okay? It'd be great if we all thought exactly the same, but that's not the case. And I don't know if I'd ever want that the case. I think if life was all the same, and there's only one culture, that would be really boring. I love the fact that there's so many different cultures in the world. I love the fact that there's so many different languages. I hope that remains, because I love certain languages. When I hear them, they're just so beautiful to just listen to. Even though I don't know what they're saying, it's very beautiful to hear. And I hope that doesn't ever go away. I hope there's always differences in the world. Okay, and I'm willing to, have to deal with different people and those differences in life, in order to keep that way. So, so guys, I just there's more to this. It's not about the money for me at all. It's that I can share an experience that I had with you guys, and I don't know how many. I don't. I'd love as many people as possible. I don't know how many people I'm going to be able to have, repeat this and duplicate this experience that that I have with. I don't. But I can tell you as many as I possibly can. And what I think is, if I look at other things in life, like what's happening with the economy, I said this before, where I know I've got people that I know who work for the government, and their jobs are solid. They didn't get a pay cut or anything else, but for some reason they feel the poverty. And it's funny because I can talk to them sometimes and they're complaining about money. It's you've had the same job for 20 years. Nothing's changed. You've got raises every year. Nothing's changed for you. How can you all of a sudden have issues with money? Something about the feeling has gone inside of them, and it's somehow manifesting in their own life. I don't get that. So if that is true, that we can all be impacted, regardless of regardless if we're having the experience or not, that we can actually feel what the rest of the world is feeling because we're connected, then maybe if enough of us can hit bliss, then the other world will feel it too. And then their decisions that they start making are now abundant decisions because they feel a sense of bliss. Maybe if there's enough of us, that's how it works in physics with the big drip, little drip theory. Big drip goes down a piece of glass next to a little drip. The little drip will be pulled right into the big drip. So maybe at the end of this, the biggest drip wins. The more of us that become negative and poverty-stricken, become sick and ill, and the whole world goes into darkness. Humanity goes into darkness. Or we become abundant, strong, powerful, enlightened, loving, caring, helpful, and then the whole world becomes that. Maybe it's already pre-written. Maybe the end is already decided. I don't know. And we have no effect at all. But then that means that we wouldn't have any effect on our lives if that was true. That means that it wouldn't matter what we did. And what I found in my life, that what I do does matter, that there is an effect for what I do. And there's an effect for what I don't do, just like when I quit. There was an effect as a result of that. So I don't think it's set in stone. I think whoever it is who's created all of us and all of this is sitting there and wondering and waiting to see what happens. And maybe at the end of it, we'll get bailed out if we don't make it. Or we'll just be annihilated. We'll be a failed experiment. And the Creator will go and start somewhere else again. I don't know. I don't know. And I know none of you guys know. You think you know, but we don't know for sure. No one does. Okay? We can only wait and see, and we can only do our best, and we can only do what we think this is all for. We can only go forward or backwards, but you guys are here because you want to go forward in your life. You've decided you want to go forward. And I know I'm committed to it. And I know a lot of you guys are committed to it too. I know you've been out there for a while. Some of you guys have been around for years. You've been earning income for most of your life. And you've seen everything, you've heard everything, you've done everything, and you're at a point in your life that, I don't know, you're here. I believe that you guys were chosen just like I was, because you could have come at another time. You could have come next month, 6 months from now, a year from now, but you guys somehow showed up now, which leads me to believe that there's something each of you are here to contribute. I don't know what it is. It could be a story that you have, an experience, an ability, a talent, your favorite. I don't know. But I know you're here. And it really leads me to believe that somehow there's a reason for that, that you guys were selected. You stumbled upon this. I don't know any of you guys, okay? I mean, obviously some of the people, but most of you guys I don't know. How the heck did you guys end up here? Okay? But you're here. You're here. And if you're here at this moment, it's because there's something that you're going to contribute to this. There's something you bring to the table. And I don't know what it is, but there's something you bring to the table. And I'm sure we'll discover that. I'm sure we'll find out what that is really soon. Okay? So that's what this is all about. It isn't about the money. It's never been about the money. It's about winning the game of life. I'm not interested in this life. I'm interested in what comes next. I'm interested in, from all my work, from all my dedication, for everything that I've just given and contributed, I am absolutely looking to get into heaven. Absolutely. Especially if it's an eternal thing. An eternity is a long time. Life can be pretty long. Imagine eternity. Okay, we all still have a lot of time left here. So I think if we make the best of it, and we do everything we can right now to make this world right now the best place that we possibly can, because I don't know, I don't see us messing this up, and then us being allowed into heaven, if you believe in such a place. I don't believe they're going to say, well, these folks. Imagine you rented a house to some people. You have some real estate. You rented a house, and they trashed the house on you. Would you allow them to move into one of your nicer homes? No, you wouldn't let those people move into one of your nicer homes. I don't see, if we trash this, that we get to go to somewhere nicer. Where does that? I don't see that. I don't see that anywhere else in life. I don't see that happening here. And I think we're a mirror of something. I don't think this is just a separate thing. I think that this here is kind of like not like a training place, but let's see how they do. Let's see how they take care of it. I've created this beautiful world. Okay. I'll give them chocolate. I'll give them birds that sing. I'll give them animals and pets and children and all of these great things to experience. And let's see how good they take care of it. Let's see what they do with all of this beautiful stuff that they've gotten. I just don't think if we trash it all that we're going anywhere nice. So I want to do the best I can. I want to take care of this world the best that I can. I want to give. I want to love. I just want to give energy. That's it. I just want to give and contribute as much as I possibly can. And the hopes, based off of my experience in life up until this point, that it all comes back to me. Not just for the money. I don't think you're going to be able to buy your way in. I don't think it's about that. I don't think it's about how much money you have. I don't think there's a cash register sitting at the gates of heaven saying how much, it's $80 billion to get in. I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's just the energy in who we become. It's we become light. We become abundant. We become worthy. I don't know if this is a test, but I sure know that it feels like it sometimes. So I'm willing to play the game. I'm willing to win. What I think determines that, which is abundance. And it's not just in money, it's not just monetary, it's abundance of success, abundance of people, abundance of joy, abundance of happiness, okay, abundance of bliss. I would imagine there's 8 billion people in the world, that if 8 billion people all hit bliss, I imagine we all get in. We all get in. You know, what's going to be said? Oh, you guys all hit bliss. You've hit a level of pureness, enlightenment, and happiness and joy. We don't want you here in heaven. No, we're accepted in, I would imagine, versus nothing worked out for me. I was taken advantage of in everything else. I spent this much on this, and I had to burn it because it didn't work, and I'm a victim, and everything keeps happening to me, and I got sick, and I got ill, and I wasn't, my God, I wasn't given a fair shake. Please let me in. Everyone else had better advantages than I did. I deserve to get in. I don't think that happens. I don't think if we all show up to the gates in a negative state of mind, I don't think we're getting in anywhere. I think there's gates for a reason. That's why there's gates, right? They're not letting you in. But I'm pretty sure that if we all hit a level of just purity, we will. And if it's eternal, then it's sure worth it. It's sure worth the 100 years or so we live on this planet to get to that. And if money's a tool, just a tool to drive us forward, if it's the token of abundance to drive us forward, then so be it. And that's it. And that's why we're all here. And I know that's a pretty deep conversation. But I don't know. I had a conversation with someone earlier, and I was it just started coming out, and I don't know. Maybe that was the reason I had the conversation with this person today, so I could share it with you guys. I don't know, but it just, and then the texting messed up, so we would have been doing Q&A tonight, right? So it's weird how today kind of unfolded. There's something bigger here that we're doing, and it has to do with life itself. So that's it, guys. I'd like to actually hear kind of maybe your take on it. A lot of you guys bring a lot of experience. A lot of you've been through so much, some of you guys on this call. I know that. You've gone through life like everyone else, doing the best you can, and, you've had ups and downs. You've overcome great things in life. Some things have tried to take you out, and maybe some things have taken you out. But I know you're here, which means that you're standing back up on your feet, ready to take another fight at it, another swing at it. For whatever reason you're here at this time, you're here now. So I'd be interested in hearing some of your respective experiences in life, what you think tonight, and that's that. Star 6, unmute your phone.
Hey, Don, it's Paulie from New York. I definitely could relate.
Hey, Paulie. What's happening, man?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, I definitely could relate. I definitely agree with you. I think things happen in life for a reason, and we're all brought together for some reason. I kind of grew up with a, great childhood. Had anything I really wanted from my parents. Went into a family business, in a diamond and jewelry business. Had that business, had a great life for about 27 years, and back in '08, the economy kind of killed me. Eventually, I had to close the business down and lost everything. And, for the past 5 years, trying to build myself back up to with the life I used to have, and, always get up every day, getting positive, and, know that it's going to come back to me, I think life goes around in circles, and the reason why it happened was some type of learning experience I had to go through. And, and I think now that I found ARP, this is my answer. This was my road to take myself back to where I used to be. So, I definitely could relate what you're saying. It's definitely true. But
right on. Well, it definitely is, Paulie. There's no question in my mind. This is the path for a lot of people. We know a lot of people are hit with the economy, and people are gonna be hit tomorrow with a huge awakening in their life, and the next day and the next day. So I don't think anyone really escapes that. I think someone in life that's pursuing anything is sooner or later going to receive a big challenge in their life or something like that is probably bigger than they've ever been able to handle in the past. But in overcoming that challenge is how you are able to handle that greater thing and become stronger and become a bigger energy.
Yeah,
I met a guy.
That, it's so simple. The easy way out when things start happening bad is just to feel sorry for yourself and, your life goes down the toilet more. So the ones that stay strong and look at it as a learning experience and maybe a reason why this is happening and just fight every day to get back to where you want to be or where you once were, that, makes that person stronger and works out for that person. Because it's easy to sit on your couch every day and say life stinks and gave me a bad deal of cards and feel sorry for yourself. But that's not the answer. There's usually an answer. There's usually a reason why something happens, and you just got to look at it like that and get back on your feet. Wake up every day. Start your day with it's a new day and do the best that you can every day, and something will lead to where you need to be. I absolutely believe in that.
Yeah. No, I always wondered if it's an adjustment. I always wondered if, people get to a place where they become complacent and they say, okay, I've made it and I'm just going to kind of hoard what I have in my great life and not do too much after that. Because life seems to hit people with this thing where they have to do more now. It's kind of like a I don't know, like a slap in the face, just a little check. Like, okay, you there's more that needs to be done than what you've done so far, and it doesn't seem like you're willing to do any more. So we're going to check you. We're going to move you. I heard that once, that the universe, I was studying a bunch of people that hit enlightenment, that hit that Buddha level. And one of the questions that was asked of this guru was, well, if I hit that level, I just sit there and just be, at peace in life and then not want or do anything. And this woman said, no, life will move you. You're not going to hit a place where you're just going to be able to do anything. Life has a way of getting you up off your ass.